Pelicans win 119-106, presented to you by Company Burger, New York Life, and DraftKings. DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of Boot Crew Media and the NBA, joined with Chaz and Chris. Let's get right into it. Pelicans, listen, it's a win. I thought the Pelicans were the better team for 3 out of 4 quarters tonight. Let's get right into it, Chaz. Jose Alvarado, he's just a game changer. He's a game changer for this team. We've been saying it all year. He needs more minutes. He needs more minutes. He needs more minutes. Tonight, he gets more minutes, and without Jose Alvarado, I don't think they win that game. He brings a certain energy, a certain IQ, a certain pace to this team in which they need. He just flips the switch, and the energy in the building. I can't remember. There are a few players that can do this, but like he's one of them where he just raises the entire energy in the entire building.
Right.
What'd you like from him tonight?
It's almost like Coach Willie's playing using reverse psychology. Like I'm gonna keep sliding Jose, so when he does play, he has something to prove. Jose single-handedly changed that game, man. Like Jose in the fort, the game was going off the rails. Jose came in, righted the ship. I think he had huge streak.
Huge streak in the left wing.
Two, 3 huge steals. Stole what was it, the inbound he stole? Put it up 2 points. I think at that point it was like the score was like 98-92. Got the game back within 3 or 4. He was just incredible tonight. Incredible game from Jose. Him and Larry, just incredible.
I'm glad you brought up Larry too, because Larry and Jose tonight combined to go 4 of 6 from deep. You don't think of really as a Larry as a shooter or a Jose, but those guys, I feel like they hit big shots in big moments when the team really needs it.
Yeah, man. I mean, those guys give they give organization and they give accountability, right? Larry gives accountability, and he always knows where to line up. He knows, he's gonna make the effort plays. He's, very good at stabilizing things, maybe, an important rebound, an important dunk, whatever the case may be, important trip to the free throw line. But what you realize about Jose, and it's not really hard to see, like the drop off is sometimes this team, and you've seen it in a lot of games they've lost. They go through multiple possessions, 3, 4, 5, to where they don't know what they're doing. They're turning the ball over, and it's silly turnovers, self-inflicted turnovers. But one thing Jose does is he organizes everybody, right? He's a point guard. And, we've talked about this before. He's the only true point guard on the team. And outside of the energy, outside of the basketball IQ, outside of some of the big shots, the energy, the defense, all those things, the scrappiness, whatever you want to call it, I think what trumps it all is him simply being a point guard and knowing what his role is. His ego is completely out the side. It's his job to set others up and make sure that he's getting everyone, he's taking advantage of whatever's in front of him, whether it's, his best player of the game. I mean, listen, he makes that 3 late, but the most impressive player of the game, he finishes a contact layup against Boban.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. It's like Rey Mysterio, like knocking down like the Big Show. It's not supposed to happen. He knocked him down. It's not supposed to happen. It's great, but that's what I realized, and and hopefully, I don't know if it was supposed to take them this long to see this, but man, those 2 guys are very important. And I hope that this is something that lights a fire within a lot of guys, and we continue to see it. Because it's what helped them make the playoffs last year and even bring Phoenix to 6 games.
Yeah, I mean, all just great points there, Chris. And let's talk about it, Chaz. One thing that we were really hard on with Willie, Coach Green, is that his rotations weren't great. I thought tonight it was a clear adjustment. And the first one, I'll go Chaz and Chris, get your thoughts on this, was Larry coming in for Jonas 4 minutes in instead of Zion. Usually Zion goes in at the 6-minute mark, and for whoever comes in. But tonight he went with Jonas out first. Zion played most of the first quarter, if not all of the first quarter. And then you had some DG minutes, less DG CJ backcourt, more CJ Jose backcourt.
I would hope that this was more strategic rotational change versus a rotational change given the context of the game, because Zion started off so hot, you couldn't really take him out of the game anyway. So, I would hope that this is more of something that we've seen in this, like a permanent change we'll be making. This was even a game I was kind of like interested in seeing Jax play a little bit, given his history against the Rockets. You got a young, feisty team, so you kind of want somebody out there who could potentially match his energy. I saw how Jose was running, so I just imagine the Jackson Jose running and gunning. But that substitution change and his rotations all night, in my opinion, were excellent. All night.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, Chris, you saw Jose, CJ, Brandon, Zion, Nance there for majority of the fourth quarter, and I thought that was one of the better quarters of the year. What do you like from that group? Because there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of IQ, and you can switch 1 through 5. And offensively, you surround Zion with those 4 guys. That's really hard to stop.
But even defensively, like,
Right.
when Zion, so there's a play, I think in the third quarter, it doesn't end up going nowhere. Maybe it was in the second. It was the end of the second quarter where Zion gets beat on a dribble drive. Jose rotates over and tries to take a charge. It's just stuff like that with that group, flexibility wise. Listen, offensively is one thing with the space, and just everybody has a place that fits them and fits what they need to do. And you would hope that as they continue to gel, that will help CJ, BI, and Zion continue to find how they're going to fit against certain matchups together. But for me, I think defensively is where I find that, because it's different. I still don't like CJ and Jose playing together, just because I don't like small backcourts, but it works differently than it does with Devontae in certain strengths, just because of how Jose is made. I can't, and Devontae, I want to say, for the time that he played, I think he was great on both sides of the floor. He communicated, but it's something different, man. It's something different when Jose's in, that the IQ, the know-how, the willingness, and the execution. It just all fits with him.
He's just, I don't know where this team would be without him. I'm serious. I really don't know. Those two, him and Larry. So let's talk about, we'll start with you, Chris. Let's talk about CJ a little bit. I know you wanted to talk about him. Tonight, struggles again from the field. 3 of 14 from the field, 1 of 7 from deep. And listen, about 4 of those 3-pointers are like practice threes. Like, he hits those in his sleep. I did notice he's still playing with one of his fingers on his right hand. Something's bothering him.
Yeah.
I know, we've all seen it. CJ McCollum is one of the best scorers in this league. He's struggling right now. I don't know if he's sick, if he's hurt. Chris, what are you seeing from him? Is he pressing? Is he in his head? What are you seeing from CJ?
It could be his hand. I don't know, how, in regards to the sickness, what's still there, what's not. But I at least saw a guy this game who was aware of what needed to happen on the floor.
Yes.
He decided that, and early on, I'm going to run this offense. I'm going to move this offense, similar to what we saw like in some of the earlier games, 1 and 2, when those guys were, before Brandon goes out in game 3. I'm going to move the ball. I'm going to run through this offense, and I'll have my opportunity to shoot the basketball, but we're going to live and die by what Zion and BI does. And that's what was important. And while he wasn't, if he didn't have the ball in his hands as much, and the shot still isn't falling, listen, this guy is top 5, if we're talking mid-range shooters, and for his career, he's close to 40%. So regardless of what's going on with his hand, whatever, that's gonna be fixed. He's going to round into form one way or another on that end. But as a basketball player, as a hooper, as a guy who is supposed to be a leader on this team, when your shot isn't falling, you find other ways to affect the game. So he rebounds tonight, 7 rebounds, 5 more than Zion, I believe, right? He rebounds tonight. He ends up with 7 assists. He fills up the box score, and me and Chaz was talking about in the playback. He defended his ass off. He gave you everything that you could have asked out of him effort-wise defensively. And I think, to me, that's all you can really ask for. The shots are what they are. They will come. But I thought he was patient. He was a real number 3 today in the offense. He really settled into that role. and he contributed in the game other ways, and that's what you want to see out of one of your leaders.
Chris, that is well said. I mean, I literally just tweeted this, but to be an overall basketball player, right? Your shot's not going to fall every night. Like, I don't care if you're Kobe, MJ, LeBron, doesn't matter. Kevin Durant, you're going to have off nights. You might have off weeks, off months. But how do you affect the game? Well, you rebound, you assist, you defend your ass off. Those are the things you just said. CJ did, and I thought tonight he didn't force as much. Chaz, point Zion. I know that you're a big guy on get him the ball and basically get the hell out of the way. Tonight, he touched the ball a lot at the top of the key, and there were a lot of possessions where the Pelicans were successful.
Yeah. Now I was looking at the box score. With as successful as Zion, and I think I've seen this a lot. There's been several games where you see Zion start off and he's maybe like 4 for 4, 6 for 6, and you're like, oh, they can't, he's going for 40 tonight. Then by the end of the game, you're like, oh shit, he only took 8 shots. What happened? And tonight, Zion only took 9 shots, right? He made it to the free throw line a lot, but there's never a reason to me where you see Zion go 8 for 9 and he only takes 9 shots. Again,
what do you think it's? What do you? I guess like why do you think that is?
I think. Look, I think point Zion is an adjustment. It's an adjustment, right? You go from being, a not so good team when Point Zion was, discovered. You go from totally not using it last year, not having it employed. Now, and you go to this year where you kind of hope that you're not going to need it as much, but it becomes reliable pretty fast. Like, it's the most effective way. And Zion isn't a selfish player. And that's the beauty of Point Zion. Zion, like that pass he made to Jose for the 3, it's like, he has elite vision. He's not a selfish player. He's not going to try to, force a bad shot most of the time, right? I think we overcomplicate things. There were 2 stretches in particular where I was like, you see what happens when you go away from it. And when you look at that third quarter, right? When you go into the third quarter, there's a point we go up by like 17, right? Go up by like 17.
18, actually.
18. There's back-to-back possessions where we go away from Point Zion, right? They score. We go back to Point Zion. Zion gets stripped in the post. As he's making the spin move, he gets stripped. The dam is opened. After that, Point Zion, like we never really get back to it. Zion comes out the game, the lead evaporates. It's like, you have to just hit the singles, make the simple play. Just win the game. You can work everything out later. Let's just win the game because we haven't won consistently yet.
Are you trying to say that maybe Coach Green's trying to get others involved, like say like Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, like Zion's getting his, now they have to get theirs, or is that kind of a problem?
In the WWE, they call it going into business for yourself, right? I think a lot of times, guys, you get a little antsy, like, hey, I deserve a shot here too, and we've all seen guys do it. Like we've even seen Devontae Graham go into business for himself at times, right? But it's like, what's the goal? Do you want to win? If you want to win, give it to him. He's going to give it right back to you. And like, you know what I'm saying? He's going to give it right back to you. So just give it to him and let's scout the way, and in the end, even in the end with Jose and Zion, you kind of saw some of the similar actions where you're like, all right, finally, you put the ball back in his hands. I mean, I don't know, man. This is me.
Justin, let me get in real quick. So me and Chaz talked about this on the playback as well. I understand from one perspective that, okay, Brandon Ingram's matchup is Eric Gordon. It's shooting over a chair. So, and I mean, I got to give Eric credit. Like he's been defending every Rockets game that I've watched for a dude who shouldn't be out here having to guard like wings, like even against the Clippers, he was guarding Paul George. Right. It's terrible that has to be his assignment, but that's the reality of it. But he's really giving you everything that he has, similar to what we were talking about with CJ. So I get that, that's the one that we want to attack. BI against Eric Gordon, you taking that right? But if that's the case, and you've seen it over and over again, Zion having the ball, it doesn't matter about the matchup. Four or five players have their eyes on him. And if you let him operate, from outside the post, even if it's in the post, he's gonna 9 times out of 10. If the offense is in any kind of correct setup, he's going to find the right person. So I do agree that, I mean, listen, he went to the free throw line. What? He had 12
times, I think.
12 times. So that skews the overall shot attempts that he ended up having.
Yes.
But it was clear that when he had the basketball in his hand and the refs were not crazy with offensive fouls or anything like that, there was nothing that Houston could do. So I do agree with Chaz, from that perspective. I just think that I understand the matchup and I understand the fact that the defense late started to collapse on Zion, but you live with that because you're going to get an open shot or two each and every time. That's the beauty of adding him back. That's the change and the transition that everyone has to make, including Brandon. Brandon, you were the closer on the team last year, and some nights you will close on this team, but Zion's just different.
Well said, Chris and Chaz. The main thing as a coach, you tell your players you want to get the best shot possible in every possession. That's like the main thing you say as a coach. When Zion has the ball, you get the best shot possible every single time.
It is what it is.
If you want to collapse the defense, I have shooters. And guess what? When I kick it out, I have athletic shooters that can pump and just literally dribble drive, and it's either a layup and you're playing advantages. If you aren't going to collapse, it's going to be a layup.
Yeah.
Or a foul.
Or he's making his free throws.
Yeah. So he's also making the threes. That's probably why we had him parked in the corner in the fort, because he's been knocking those trees down.
But to your point, guys, like, I love Brandon. He's my favorite guy on the team. But
I think he's all our favorite. Yeah.
I just think that Zion offensively gives you the best opportunity every single night.
Or be more creative. Like, look, if you want to attack the matchup that is Eric Gordon guarding BI, you can still do that while having Zion be the initial, being the initiator. You can have Zion set up the offense on the opposite wing and have BI running action, on whether it's from the corner or what. Like, there's so many different ways.
I love when he gets in the X of those.
Dog, it's so many different ways. If that's what you want to do, it can still happen. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to land with BI being the one dribbling the basketball necessarily. That's how I look at it. But shit, they won the game.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you take the win and you leave.
You take the money, right? Ain't that what you say, Chaz?
Yeah, you take the money, get in the car, you drive off. To Chris's point, there was an action in the first half where Zion was initiating, and he waited for BI to make it to his spot. He waited like a good second. He missed the turnaround jumper, but he waited for him. He was a patient, developing action. And, like I say, these guys, they're going to learn to work with each other better. It just takes time. And like to Chris's point, creativity.
Yeah, I agree. Multiple times, by the way, Zion Williamson did defer to Brandon. Like, he was like, you got it. And like, that's who Zion is. Like, that's what's, as y'all say, that's what makes him so great. To your other point, Chaz, I think LSU is a great example of, like, tempering expectations, right? LSU loses game 1 of the year. Everyone's throwing a shit fit. They're now SEC West champions. Things can change in the season. As you can see, Willie Green's making adjustments. Right. And it's game 13. They're 7-6. You're going to take that all day. Last thing I'm going to leave y'all with, I can't wait to hear y'all's thoughts on this. Lopez tweeted out, since Jose Alvarado got ejected from the game, Houston could pick any Pelicans bench player that they wanted to shoot. And they chose.
Oh, they chose that.
They chose.
We thought that was Willie.
I love it.
And he nails 2 free throws.
Poetic justice, dog. Poetic justice. We was talking about that shit on the playback. Like, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's right. Like, it's perfect.
I thought that was Willie Green's. I was like, well, that's
me too. I thought it was Willie.
Weird flex. Like, what? Like,
I would have done that though. Like we said, like that's great coaching. All right, the last time you were on the floor, you missed 2 free throws. Get back out here and make the next 2.
Yeah.
So I love that moment.
We give Willie a lot of credit for that. I say, yo, Dyson misses these. We may never see Dyson again.
Chaz,
Dyson
let me ask you real quick before we get out of here.
Go ahead.
If they come out here and they beat Memphis, which they haven't beat Memphis with the healthies. I mean, they haven't beat. Yeah, I don't think Memphis has beat New Orleans with a healthy Zion, right?
Zion. I think
Let me
Jared
ask you,
Jackson Jr. is supposed to come back.
Does your mindset on this team change if they, even for a moment, if they come out and they beat Memphis, who once again is playing well, energy right?
No.
Okay.
The reason why is because I need to know if some of the corrections tonight were because you still was in a heavyweight fight with a 2-win team tonight.
Correct.
Healthy.
Correct.
Right. So I need to know if some of the corrections that I saw tonight or what I perceived to be corrections, just like with the Dyson Daniels thing, we thought it was Willie, but it was the context of the game.
Yeah.
I need to know if that was because of the context of the game, or are we learning certain things?
The process, right?
Yeah, the process. So the result against Memphis, of course, I want to win, but the result wouldn't really change much.
Understood.
From my perspective.
Memphis is Tuesday. Wednesday is Chicago. Last thing I will leave y'all with.
That's tough.
Larry Nance, 22 points, 9 rebounds. Presented to you by Company Burger and DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Boot Crew Media and the NBA. New customers can bet $5, win $200 in free bets if your team wins on the money line using code BOOT. Chris Connor, Cheddar Chaz.
That's crazy.
That's what my friends likes to call him. We play Tuesday. Make sure you check out Hot Takes. Make sure you check out In Spaces, all on Boot Crew Media's YouTube page. I forgot to do the damn thing where you have to like, comment, and subscribe. So if you get to this point, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Get to the end of the video.
Yeah, Jared's going to kill me on that one. Pelicans win 119-106. They are 7-6. Y'all have a good Sunday. Hopefully the Saints won't ruin our weekend.
Yeah.
See y'all later.
Not counting on it.